accept that. I have always known their god has great power, and I don't understand why my gods let the bastard win, but they do. He cheats. That's the only explanation I can find. The nailed god lies and cheats, and liars and cheaters always win. So I waited in the wet street, and lightning scraped a heavy hoof in a puddle. Above my leather and mail I wore a cloak of dark blue wool edged with stoat fur. The hammer of Thor hung at my throat, while on my head was my wolf-crested helmet. The cheek-pieces were open. Rain dripped from the helmet rim. I wore long leather boots, their tops stuffed with rags to keep the rain from trickling down inside. I wore gauntlets, and on my arms were the rings of gold and rings of silver. The rings a warlord earns by killing his enemies. I was in my glory, though the enemy I faced did not deserve that respect.
"Father," Osbert began, "what if—"
"Did I speak to you?"
"No."
"Then be quiet," I snarled. I had not meant to sound so angry, but I was angry. It was an anger that had no place to go, just anger at the world, at the miserable, dull, grey world, an impotent anger. The enemy was behind closed doors and they were singing. I could hear their voices, though I could not distinguish their words. They had seen me, I was certain, and they had seen that the street was otherwise empty. The folk who lived in this town wanted no part of what was about to happen. Though what was about to happen I did not know myself, even though I would cause it. Or perhaps the doors would stay shut, and the enemy would cower inside their stout timber building. Doubtless that was the question Osbert had wanted to ask. What if the enemy stayed indoors? He probably would not have called them the enemy. He would have asked what if they stay indoors. "If they stay indoors," I said, "I'll beat their damned door down, go in and pull the bastard out. And if I do that, then the two of you will stay here to hold lightning."
"Yes, father."
"I'll come with you," Ethelstan said. "You'll do as you're damned well told."
"Yes, Lord Uhtred,"
he said respectfully, but I knew he was grinning. I did not need to turn around to see that insolent grin, but I would not have turned because, at that moment, the singing stopped. I waited. A moment passed, and then the doors opened. And out they came. Half a dozen older men first, then the young ones, and I saw those younger ones look at me, but even the sight of Uhtred, warlord draped in anger and glory, could not stifle their joy. They looked so happy. They were smiling, slapping each other's backs, embracing and laughing. The 6 older men were not laughing. They walked towards me and I did not move.
"I am told your Lord Uhtred,"
one of them said. He wore a grubby white robe belted with rope, was white-haired and grey-bearded, and had a narrow, sun-darkened face with deep lines carved round his mouth and eyes. His hair fell past his shoulders, while his beard reached to his waist. He had a sly face, I thought, but not without authority, and he had to be a churchman of some importance because he carried a heavy staff topped with an ornate silver cross. I said nothing to him. I was watching the younger men. They were boys, mostly, or boys just turned to men. Their scalps, where their hair had been shaved back from their foreheads, gleamed pale in the grey daylight. Some older folk were coming from the doors now. I assumed they were the parents of these boy men.
"Lord Uhtred,"
the man spoke again. "I'll speak to you when I'm ready to speak," I growled.
"This is not seemly,"
he said, holding the cross towards me as if it might frighten me. "Clean your rancid mouth out with goat piss," I said. I had seen the young man I had come to find, and I kicked Lightning forward. 2 of the older men tried to stop me, but Lightning snapped with his big teeth, and they staggered back, desperate to escape. Spear Danes had fled from Lightning, and the 6 older men scattered like chaff.